Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how I went from this to this in just a couple of minutes. What's going on everyone? Today's video I'm going to be turning this ordinary handle for my Nadia Corolla into a Porsche style handle. So the idea is to cut this off right here and then feed in a red nylon strap on this backside and then cutting a slit here and slipping it through there to then joint them over here by this hole where the door does the pulling motion, and then from there we should have the Porsche style handle that hopefully comes out right. Oh, crap. First steps first, always make sure that you have some sort of gloves protecting your hands, also some sort of eye protection. I opted in for a full face mask just to be protected, and I'm also wearing long sleeves just in case. And so what I want to do is I want to have this wedged open, this way it's easier for me to cut this instead of me accidentally cutting into this part of the plastic. I do have extras just in case things go wrong, but just so we don't have to go through that process over again, might as well do it right the first time. So I'm just holding up this backing from the face protection I bought, and I'm just gonna try, so definitely to reduce the size of this. That's what I got so far. I'm gonna try to see if I can wedge it in some more. Alright, that should be good enough for now. So, I'm gonna go ahead and place that down. I'm gonna take our Dremel tool and slowly start cutting. I'm just gonna snap the rest off just like that. So for the most part we got everything cleaned up. Now I'm just gonna, so for the most part we got everything cleaned up and cut off. Not perfect clean, but now I'm just gonna get a tool and just start sanding down this part. can do is we can use a sponge. This is some leftover sandpaper from the last project, so we're just going to go ahead and use the rest of it up. I believe this is 320 grit, but what I'm going to try to do is get it on the corner. This way we can try our best to just get into that little group, because it is a small space. I don't want to cut this entirely, but if we need to, that's what we're going to do. Just try to smooth it. Just to get a nice smooth surface, so when we paint over it, it's one, looks good, and it doesn't have any sharp edges or any lumps that we feel. And just like that. There we go. So now what I'm going to do too, I'm just going to try to round out this edge just to make it a little bit smoother. And I'm not too worried about it sanding on this other portion because we're going to be painting the entire thing anyway, so we're going to have to end up sanding this later on. But just going to round it out just a little bit more and then sand it to paint it. Focus, sanding on the edge over here. Perfect. So that gives it a little bit of a smoother edge. Now I'm going to go ahead and start sanding just the entirety of the handle. So we can wipe the entire thing down. More or less right at the top of it. So we're just gonna turn that tool on and very carefully cut that split in. Alright, awesome. So we're going to go ahead now and get this Porsche painted, just the inside that we're going to see inside of the car. This part doesn't necessarily matter, so let's go over and get that painted. Alright, so here we are. Now the paint has been dried, and so now the next step is to add the nylon strap to this. So I did create the passenger side already just to practice and play around and see exactly how this would specifically turn out. So what we have right here is we have the nylon strap. The next set of tools that we're gonna need is a pair of scissors, a lighter, a grommet tool if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what that's called. And then we're gonna need 2 grommets, and I'll show you guys why. Basically what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to do 2 grommets on each side. This way we have 1 grommet here, 1 grommet here, and then the hook for the door handle slips through this and then goes right through this one right here. So now what we gotta do is we have to get this nylon right through this slit right here. So what I had to do was I did cut a little bit of the sandpaper in order to make this hole wider, in order for us to slip this through. But not only that, we're gonna have to kind of trim it like an arrow. This is not the true length of what this is gonna look like. It's probably gonna look a little bit smaller, but that's only because we're gonna be trimming up the edges in order to get it through this little portion right here. So let me go ahead and get started with this part. So you want to make sure that there's no strands, because when it rubs up against this part right here, it is going to want to fray off. So we'll be able to perfectly loop it through there. And we're going to go ahead and enter it and then see how or where we want to make that hole for the grommet. So just going to feed it through just like that, and perfect. What I do, however, need to do, definitely need to take care of that, but I'm going to need to trim just a little bit off this portion right here. Light this up. All right, perfect. So now this should be perfect for us to go ahead, slide it in, and as you see, it has little to no resistance because of how wide the hole is now. And this way we can go ahead and enter it in a decent amount in order for us to then twist it. And that's where we'll have the hole. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab something for us to make that mark on it. So you can just grab any black marker that you have. This way you can go ahead and make that mark to where we're going to put the hole. Perfect. Okay, perfect. So that's more or less a good length, I want to say. After we go ahead and mount it, it'll more or less just stick out just a tad bit, which I'm happy with. So now the next step is we just have to go ahead and now get a hole in here. This way we can put those metal grommets, and then we'll be all set. All right, this might be bad, but perfect. Okay, it's not the prettiest, but it works. So luckily, this is all on the back side, so it just needs to work. It doesn't need to look good. So we're also this is gonna be very stupid and dumb. I don't recommend anybody doing this, but just gonna do that. There's some smoke coming, but just like that. A little bit of it caught on fire, but this is it. This is what we're gonna work with, and then it's just gonna hook like that, and then we're gonna go to the installation.